what a weekend we're about to have. And I am really looking forward to the staggered schedule with the NHL. And I don't expect anything we see over the next 2 months to truly carry over back into the real world if we get there this time next year or 2 years down the road. But I think hockey fans are going to absolutely love the staggered schedule. I mean, it's going to be incredible. Overtime, and then another game starting, and then, one game's in the second, one game's in the third. It's just going to be one after the other every day for the next, month and a half.
See, to me, that sounds exactly like the NCAA tournament, and I love the first rounds of those of that tournament, because the games are staggered. You're right, and so one's late in the second half, and you're like, this one kind of sucks. It's a blowout. I'm going to switch, but there's another game going on. I think this is maybe there's a logistics problem when things are normal and you've got games all over the country and time zones and all that. This is, of course, the perfect setup for this. You only got to worry about 2 time zones. You can make it all work. And I know I'll be spending a lot of time on the couch this weekend. I mean, that I haven't been anyway, but I'll be on the couch watching.
I agree. And the other thing you threw in there, Ray, is that tournament, there's always upsets. Like I think we're going to see 1 or 2. I don't even know if upset's the word, but you're going to see something that we didn't expect. And, I keep trying to figure out what it is, but I'm excited. I can't wait.
Well, I want to see one of the favorites get down 2-1 or something. And then, I think that's the type of moment we will look forward to when things really ramp into another level. We had Paul Maurice on. Dregs and I taped our first podcast back today. And we had Paul Maurice on, and he said it looked like real hockey. It was, it got slow at the end, when guys kind of petered out a little bit. But he said it's so odd because it's so quiet in the building. He's like, you can go down to talk to a player and have a normal conversation. He goes, there's no music blaring between whistles, and so I think we'll need a series tension somewhere to kick this into, this is the playoffs. Mm-hmm. For me anyway.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think there's got to be some sort of emotional roller coaster. There's got to be, I think, some animosity, maybe a big hit, maybe a goalie gets run, as stupid as it sounds. Right. That might trigger it. It's like, all right, now I think these guys really hate each other. Like, there's a build-up here. And maybe it's got to get deeper into the qualifying round, but you're not going to have much time to get there. It starts on Saturday. It's going to end by next Sunday. So you better get
what if you're not into it? You're out by Wednesday. You're packing your bag Thursday.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. And I keep thinking the weird things, like there's going to be a suspension. Mm-hmm. We see it every year. Like
absolutely.
There's going to be a bad hit. There's going to be a suspension. There's going to be a controversial call. Like in these exhibition games, the ones I've been watching, there's been some questionable, like, offsides. I thought there was a goalie interference the other. Trocheck scored where I thought it was goalie interference, where there was no challenge. It was just kind of like, let's keep playing. Almost like Julian, like, I'm not going to pull Price, keep moving on. But it's going to be for all the marbles this weekend. So you're going to see all that and with no noise. Like, do you think Tortorella's going to care that it's quiet in the building, and if he has to challenge a call or he doesn't like something, like he's going to be yelling and screaming.
He'll be yelling at refs like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But guys, there is a censor assigned to each game.
I know.
That guy better be sharp. He better be sharp.
Absolutely. Because you can bank, and the players are going to be doing that. You think the players aren't going to yell and scream at the bench and then during changes and yelling at the refs, and the mic's going to pick up a lot.
Yeah, but Weiss missed a back door against the Leafs the other day. He had the F word twice. You could hear it clear, him screaming from the bench. He had a wide open net. It rolled off his stick. Like, I understood it. I knew exactly. He's pissed. He's trying to score.
I don't know what the big deal is. It's like, if you don't want your kids to hear that, don't let them watch the game. I don't know. I think people would find it fascinating, unless it went below the belt where it was stupid stuff.
Right.
Well, I think that's more. I mean, I would assume that's what they're more concerned with. But in one of the games the other day, the guys were given an example of what can't go on the air was a player saying to another guy, "I'm going to effing hurt you." Mm-hmm. And they said that can't go, that's got to be off the air. Well, I don't know if it was the F-bomb or "I'm going to hurt you," but that stuff's said all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's all the time. And it's not even meant. The guy's not going to hurt him, try to hurt him, but you send him a message, keep your head up, but I might.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because generally the guys that are saying that, you got to keep your head up for them anyway.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I remember sitting on the bench. You remember Kevin Kaminsky?
Oh.
My teammate got hit in the eye with the puck, or got a stick in the eye, and as he's skating off, he's yelling from the other bench, "When you come back, I'm going to take out your other eye." He's yelling that. I'm like, I was scared of the guy, and he's on the other bench. I'm not even playing against him. Like, there was some crazy things said out there. Obviously, it's not that type of stuff. Not going to be said nowadays. But
you need the players to be comfortable, and if you want the emotion, this is the dichotomy that they're dealing with, the networks and the league. If you want it to feel real, look real, sound real, be real, then they got to be able to say whatever they want to say on the ice that they would have said 4 months ago. So
right, and there's going to be a few things that'll get through, but I think they're probably, the way they are real is that they trust that they're protected.
Yes.
That like that their F-bombs aren't all over the place. Like they're. The goal of trying to make it normal, the one thing I found absolutely hilarious so far is when somebody scores, the announcer's announcing the goals like there are people in the building. Like he knows nobody's there, right?
Oh, I know.
Like, have you guys not noticed that? Like, they are so excited, Maple Leaf goal, and you're like, yeah, you could just whisper it. We'd all hear it, too.
We know that there's no one in there and there's nothing muffling it. But I guess that, to be fair to them, is kind of what – maybe that's how you'd have to feel natural, right? Like, right, you've called 1,000 games, and you got to yell sometimes, and you got to be upbeat and have energy, and maybe that's just the way you trigger normalcy, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I was listening to the game, and I thought, wow, one of the challenges will be for a broadcaster is that you've got to amp your own excitement, because lots of times you feed off the energy too. Mm-hmm. And, if there's going to be no atmosphere, of course, so you could say, it's a great pass across the front of the net. What a save.
Yeah,
or you got to get into it, right?
Yeah, there's times where I've screamed, like Craig Anderson makes an unreal glove save. Like, I'll yell, like, oh my God, what a save! Like that's going to have to come through from the broadcasters, or even the emotion on the bench. The guys, I guaranteed you'll hear the guys screaming on the bench. Great save, big hit, whatever. Like this. I have no problem. I want to see emotion out of these guys.
The four of us don't. It doesn't matter. I guess what they're thinking is, if there's a 12 o'clock game on NBC in the States and Joel Quenneville is grabbing his junk, that's probably going to be a problem, which he has done before on NBC, I believe, in the States.
Wow.
But
they have to take the Adam Burt approach. Ray, did you ever play with Adam Burt in Hartford?
Yeah, in Hartford, for sure.
He never swore he was a Christian, and he would yell he would fight guys all the time, and he'd be like, "You friggin' bastard!" And I was thinking to myself, this guy is trash talking without swearing. I heard him tell a guy he was going to beat the peanuts out of him once, and I just could not stop laughing. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Do you remember the movie?
Sorry, go ahead. Noodles. I was just going to say Doug Jarvis. He never swore as well, and when something would go wrong, he would say hokey snappers.
Oh, jeez.
And you're like, Jarvis, I can't even take you serious. I know you're angry, but come up with a new term.
Right.
I can't even,
that's not angry enough. That's not going to fly.
No, you're not buying it.
There used to be a movie, guys. Do you remember? It was Michael Keaton. It was that Johnny Dangerously.
Oh yeah.
Guy,
Roman Maroney. Roman Maroney.
Roman Maroney.
You sons of bitches.
Oh, but you sons of. I die at that. Like,
it's
every time.
Greatest.
That's what you're going to have to do.
I want to watch that tonight.
You remember who the tough guy was?
No.
Joe Piscopo.
Yes, you're right.
That's right.
That was
when
Piscopo.
He was jacked. Remember, Piscopo used to be skinny, and then he got really big, didn't he? Jack.
He did.
You're right.
Yeah.
Piscopo was great in that movie.
So funny. That movie.
My mother hung me on a door once
Once, yeah. That movie
Roman
is
Moroni.
underrated. Yeah.
Oh, it's such a great. He gets deported to Sweden.
What is it called?
Johnny Dangerously.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
an
rent
outstanding movie. We were talking about this earlier, right? You know, the confidence level of Canadian teams, and outside of, I'm sure, the market of Montreal, I think the rest of the country looks at Montreal as clearly the team you have the least amount of confidence in, based on how they got into the playoffs, based on who they're going up against in Pittsburgh. But beyond that, the other five, I will admit I would have Calgary fifth. There's just something about them. I don't know what it is. I don't love their goaltending. I didn't love their season. Their big boys didn't connect, and maybe that changes. Maybe Gaudreau and Monahan show up and have a great round and go on a run. But for me, it's difficult to pinpoint, confidence levels from the Leafs to Winnipeg to Vancouver to Edmonton. Where do you stand on that in terms of maybe the top all the way down?
I think Toronto is confident. I think Vancouver feels really good about themselves. Mm-hmm. Whether they should or shouldn't is, for anybody is another thing, but they seem like they're confident. Winnipeg seems to like their team. Calgary, there seems to be some doubt there, just for what you mentioned. I mean, they got steamrolled last year. That thing was not close against Colorado, and they're gonna, in Montreal, I just don't see them giving Pittsburgh a fight. I just don't see it. I don't think they're good enough. The best team, like who's the best team? I don't know. I think the best series will be Winnipeg and Calgary.
Yeah, I like Winnipeg though. I like Hellebuck too much.
Hellebuck is just so so
How good was he
Noodles,
last
is he a
night?
top 5 guy in the league now? Because he is for me.
Yeah, he is. I've got him ranked at number 1. Like going in there, even out of there's 24 guys. I didn't include the 8 that aren't playing. Like Vasilevsky to be there, Rask, but Hellebuck has arrived as a super elite goaltender. Like he's that good. A couple of years ago, he should have been up for the Vezina, or should have won it. I think he was second. Like he wins it. Like to me, this is a guy who is he's a stud. He's that good. And you saw how good he was last night. I thought he was the difference in the game.
Him and Vasilevsky are going to flip Vezinas for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I think you're going to see this Shesterkin's a player. I think Carter Hart's a player. There's some good young goaltenders coming in the league too. So it's good.
The ball's turning over from some of the veterans for sure.
Yeah, it is.
But there's something about Hellebuck, man. He just relishes being the guy. He wants the pressure. I think he's terrific. I think he's so good.
Yeah, no, he's a great goalie. He's great, and he's going to be probably the reason Winnipeg goes on a run if they end up doing that.